Most families don't have a money problem, they have a clarity problem. A real needs analysis isn't about selling products, it's about answering five simple questions. Number one, what happens if income stops? Two, what debts still need to be paid? Number three, final expenses. Those are guaranteed. Number four, what future goals still matter if you're gone? Number five, what coverage and assets already exist? The gap between those numbers, that's the real plan. No pressure, just math. A needs analysis is not about selling products. It's about identifying risk, prioritizing protection, and most importantly, creating clarity, right? So today, I'll show you a simple, repeatable framework you can use with any family, regardless of income level. So, most financial conversations fail because, most importantly, they start with solutions instead of structure. So here's some of the common mistakes that are made are jumping to products too early. Using assumptions instead of facts. Overcomplicating the process, or talking more than listening. Your job as a financial professional is not to impress. Your job is to diagnose, okay? So I'm going to go through the framework. So here's the framework of a needs analysis. Here's the framework. Every analysis should answer five questions. The first question, number one, what happens if income stops? That's the first question. Question number two, how long does the family need support? That's the second question. The third question is, what debts must be eliminated? That's the third. And the fourth, what future goals must be protected? And number five, what resources already exist? Okay, which ones exist? If you answer these five questions, the math pretty much becomes obvious. Step number one is income replacement. All right. See, income is the engine of the household. It keeps everything going. So you want to protect the engine first. So some key questions are, who earns income in the household? Let's find out who all has money coming in. How much monthly income is required to survive? And for how many years must income be replaced? So here's a simple formula. Annual income times years needed equals baseline protection. All right, so that's step one. Step number two is debt elimination. See, debt doesn't disappear when someone passes away. The debt is still there. Like the mortgage is still there. The auto loans, they're still there. The credit cards, still there. The student loans, still there. And the personal loans are still there. So the objective is to prevent the family from becoming debt rich and cash poor. Debt rich and cash poor. We want to prevent that. So step number three is final expenses. See, final expenses are guaranteed. Planning is optional, but consequences are not optional. So the typical range is, funeral and burial costs, medical bills, and legal administrative costs. Step number 4 is future goals and legacy. People like to talk about that, right? But protection isn't just about today. It's about preserving options. So some examples of future goals are, college funding, spouse retirement security, special needs planning, and family business continuity. So you want to ask your client, your prospect, what would you want funded even if you weren't here? All right. Now, step number 5 is existing assets and coverage. So before recommending anything, inventory what already exists. So you want to review, employer benefits. You want to review existing life insurance. You want to review savings and investments and pensions or survivor benefits. See, most families are underinsured, not uninsured. So the gap analysis is where the clarity happens. The gap is simply the difference between what's needed and what's available. So here's the formula. Right? Total need minus existing resources equals coverage gap. The numbers tell the story. Not your opinion, not my opinion. The numbers do that. So once all that is done, now it's time to present the results. And you got to pay attention to this part because it's important. When presenting the results, your tone matters more than your words. So you want to say something like, based on what you shared, here's what the math shows. You want to avoid pressure. You want to avoid fear-based language. And you want to avoid over-explaining, which is easy to happen. That's why we prep. Clarity always builds trust. So you want to focus on prioritization. Not everything at once. Families don't need perfection. Nobody perfect anyway, but families don't need perfection. They just need a starting point. So here's the priority order. Here's the order of priority, right? Number 1 is income protection. Number 2 is emergency fund and will. Number 3 is debt. Number 4 is retirement. And number 5 is college planning. And number 6 is goals and dreams. That's the priority. So you want to start where the risk is highest. So a proper needs analysis removes all the guesswork from financial decisions. See, when families understand the problem clearly, the solution becomes their idea, not your idea. And that's the purpose.